The silence is officially broken, and the shockwaves are now shaking the thick glass windows of a certain 16-bedroom mansion in Montecito. For more than 10 years, Trevor Engelson was the man who knew way too much but kept his mouth shut. He was like a ghost from a past life, a successful Hollywood producer who walked away from a marriage that didn't end with a real talk or a sad goodbye, but with a cold, legal package sent through registered mail. For years, he played the role of the classy ex-husband perfectly. He moved on, built a big production company, started a new family, and stayed completely quiet with the media while his ex-wife turned into one of the most famous and debated women in the world. But now it's 2026, and like people say, every secret has a deadline. Looks like Trevor's moment has finally arrived, and he's not just talking, he's rumored to be bringing the proof. This isn't just some messy Hollywood gossip or an old divorce from the Suits days. We're watching a full story collapse happen live. Whispers are flying that Trevor didn't just speak to someone in the middle. They say he's getting ready to drop the kind of info that no PR team can erase from the internet. From the moment he decided to tell his side, the vibe behind the gates of Meghan's California home switched from chill control to full panic mode. The image that was carefully built over years of Netflix specials, shiny magazine covers, and big podcasts is now showing deep, rough cracks. And here's the scariest part for the Duchess. This isn't coming from some hater or a gossip rag. It's coming from the one guy who saw her real side before any cameras were ever rolling. To really get why Trevor speaking up now in 2026 is such a big deal, you have to look back at the cold truth of how their marriage ended. Back in 2013, Trevor Engelson got completely blindsided. He had supported Meghan through the rough years, using his industry connections to help her land acting gigs and survive that cutthroat Hollywood world. But once Suits blew up and she got a taste of fame, everything changed. Picture this. You're married to someone for years, you're in Los Angeles while she's filming in Toronto, and then boom, you get a FedEx envelope. Inside that package, not legal papers. It's her wedding and engagement rings. No face-to-face talk, no final phone call to say it's over, just a registered mailbox treating a years-long relationship like a canceled gym membership. That was Trevor's first real look at the new Meghan. For 10 years, he carried the pain of that cold move, watching from afar as she rewrote her own past to fit a royal fairy tale. People have always wondered why a successful producer like Trevor didn't sell his story years ago. The real deal is, he didn't need to. He was winning at life, building a beautiful family with his new wife and 3 kids. But insiders say watching his own past get twisted and his role in her rise to fame totally erased was the last straw for him. He's not chasing a comeback. He just wants the truth to be seen. The fact that he's reportedly broken his silence through trusted sources in early 2026 has sent Meghan into a total spiral. She thought he was a closed book, a guy who would take the secrets from her Toronto years to the grave. She was wrong. But that cold exit from her first marriage was just a sneak peek of a much bigger, more ambitious plan already in motion. There's a story that's been floating around rich social circles for years, one Meghan has repeatedly and strongly denied. She famously told Oprah and the whole world that she didn't know much about the British royal family. She claimed she had no clue who Prince Harry even was before their so-called blind date. But according to people who were in her inner circle back in the Trevor days, the truth was way more calculated. Friends of her ex-husband have whispered about a vision board. Not one for general happiness or career goals, but one that reportedly had a very specific target right in the middle, Prince Harry. The whole fairy tale of 2 star-crossed lovers meeting by pure accident makes for a pretty Hollywood script. But the truth bombs dropping in 2026 suggest it was more like a strategic mission. Meghan wasn't just looking for love. She was looking for a platform that could never be taken away from her. They say she studied Harry like a lead acting role, learning what made him tick, what made him vulnerable, and his deep need for a family of his own. She looked at one of the most eligible bachelors on the planet and didn't see a person, she saw a title. But there was one massive $100 million mistake in her plan. She reportedly assumed that a prince of the United Kingdom was sitting on billions. When the truth hit that Harry's wealth was mostly locked up in trusts and watched over by the king, the fairy tale slammed into a wall of cold, hard math. This is why we see the Duchess today in 2026 desperately trying to sell fancy jams and dog biscuits. It's not some cute hobby. It's a must-have to pay for a lifestyle the royal bank account couldn't actually support. She thought she was scoring the ultimate jackpot, but she quickly learned that being royal came with a budget, and that was never on the vision board. When the news of Trevor's rumored memoir deals hit headlines in late 2025, the reaction inside that Montecito mansion wasn't a calm legal response. It was a total explosion. Witnesses and former staffers say that behind those closed gates, the Duchess didn't just get upset, she went into full wild crisis mode. There have been ongoing whispers about a special wing in the house. Some call it the Rage Room, that's soundproofed and built exactly for these moments of extreme PR pressure. It's a place where furniture reportedly gets kicked over and expensive vases get smashed when the story starts slipping out of her control. But the real crisis isn't just about broken furniture, it's about broken people. By early 2026, the staff turnover at Archewell and the Montecito estate hit a shocking number, with over 18 senior staffers having quit or been let go since the move to California. A pattern has emerged that can no longer be ignored. Just months ago, in January 2026, 2 more high-ranking people walked away, including longtime allies who had been with the couple from the very start. These exits follow a brutal Hollywood Reporter's story that famously painted the Duchess as a dictator in high heels. Staffers describe an environment of pure high-stakes fear where one wrong word can spark a screaming match that echoes through the halls. After Trevor's news, Meghan reportedly went off on her press team, blaming them for failing to shut down her past. This isn't the move of a woman who feels solid in her truth. This is someone scared that the world is finally seeing the off-camera version of her life. The legal chaos that followed, the cease and desist letters, the desperate attempts to draft gag orders, speaks louder than any official statement. If the claims from her past were really fake, you just ignore them. When you panic like this, it's because the proof is real. Maybe the most explosive and sensitive part of the Trevor files involves a topic that has been whispered about in dark corners of the internet for years, but has never been tackled by the mainstream media. There is deep, dark speculation about Trevor's medical history during his marriage to Meghan, specifically a procedure he allegedly had that would carry major weight for their ability to have kids together. If these reports are true, they throw a massive shadow over the official birth stories of Archie and Lilibet. The public has been split for years over theories of fake bumps and surrogacy. But Trevor Engelson is one of the few people on Earth who would actually know the real biological facts from that time. If he has proof regarding medical history or past fertility struggles that go against the royal story, it doesn't just hurt her image, it challenges the whole line of succession. The palace has stayed quiet for years, reportedly going along with the stories to avoid a huge constitutional mess. But now, in 2026, with Trevor supposedly talking, the secrecy around the Sussex kids' births is under more heat than ever before. Meghan is said to be terrified that this one secret is the one that will finally bring the whole house of cards down. It's one thing to be called a fame chaser. It's a whole different game to be accused of a major, years-long lie about the royal bloodline. This secret alone could tear down everything she's built. But right now, she's busy blaming a much bigger institution for her current business fails. By mid-2025, the brand that was supposed to be Meghan's big comeback, American Riviera Orchard, had run into a series of major roadblocks. After a soft launch that got widely clowned for pushing overpriced jam, the brand faced multiple trademark denials. In a desperate move in early 2026, The brand was reportedly redone and renamed As Ever. Meghan claimed the name meant as it's always been. But critics saw it as a rushed move to dump the baggage from the previous failed launch. Then right away, the As Ever switch ran into a copycat fight. In early 2026, local leaders in a small Spanish town called Pereiras in Mallorca pointed out wild similarities between Meghan's new brand logo and their town's ancient coat of arms. Both showed a palm tree with two birds on each side. The town's mayor publicly said he was shocked, and legal teams are reportedly looking into whether the Duchess borrowed the design for her lifestyle empire. This business flop has been a huge hit to Meghan's pride. She expected to be the next Martha Stewart or Gwyneth Paltrow, but instead her products, from flower sprinkles to herbal teas, are getting called overpriced and unoriginal. To Meghan, these failures aren't from bad planning, they're from a coordinated attack. In her mind, her business isn't sinking because of a logo scandal. It's sinking because of a conspiracy. That brings us to the latest truth bomb from the palace. In April 2026, King Charles made a very public official visit to the United States. For weeks, the media guessed this would be the moment for a big family reunion. Harry reportedly sent a handwritten letter to his dad, begging to meet and introduce the kids. But the king's response? A cold shoulder that echoed around the world. The official word from the palace was that there were no plans for a meeting because the visit was strictly for business. Meghan reportedly saw this as the ultimate stab in the back. She has told close friends that she's sure the timing of Trevor's book rumors and the king's refusal to meet is all part of a big setup by the firm to ruin her lifestyle brand's launch. In her view, the palace is using her ex-husband as a weapon to make sure she never finds business success in America. This victim story has been her go-to move for years. But in 2026, people are starting to ask, why would a busy king care about some jam brand in California? The truth is, that old family break isn't a priority for the monarchy anymore. They've moved on, but Meghan can't. She's stuck in a loop of blaming the institution for every headline she hates. But while she's fighting a ghost war with London, she's losing the one guy who gave up his whole world to be her shield. While Meghan is going crazy over the latest logo drama, Prince Harry's reaction has been noticeably different. Sources close to the Montecito estate say the Duke looks visibly shaken and embarrassed by the constant mess. In 2026, reports of the couple living separate lives have shifted from gossip to a clear pattern. They're reportedly doing a professional split, showing up at charity events and business meetings alone instead of as the power couple they used to be. Insiders describe Harry as a man completely worn out by the endless PR fights. He's reportedly spending more and more time in different parts of their mansion, focusing on his own projects like the Invictus Games and getting back to his royal roots. He has reportedly warned Meghan to stop blaming his father for the Trevor situation, a sign that even his patience has hit its limit. He's being described as a fragile figure who's finally realizing what it cost him to burn those bridges. He traded his family, his military titles, and his country for a shot at Hollywood success, which has mostly led to fights and boredom. The emotional gap between them is now so clear that even their most loyal fans are starting to see it. The fairy tale didn't end with a happy ever after. It ended with a business adjustment. The divorce rumors in 2026 aren't just whispers anymore. They're the obvious ending to a marriage built on a story that's now being torn apart by the man who knew her first. The single biggest mistake Meghan Markle made during her fast climb to the top was assuming Trevor Engelson would never have the power to fight back. When their marriage ended in 2013, she didn't think she needed to buy his silence. She was a cable TV actress, not a duchess. So there's no formal NDA stopping Trevor from telling his side. And in the high-stakes media world of 2026, that's the nuclear button. Rumors are heating up that Trevor has been offered a record-breaking multi-million-dollar deal for a full memoir. And unlike the unauthorized books we've seen before, Trevor allegedly has the proof. We're talking about the Toronto emails, private photos from the FedEx era, and possibly medical records that could change everything. Her legal team is reportedly in panic mode, scrambling to find any way to block a possible book deal, but their hands are tied. Trevor's quiet dignity for the last 10 years has earned him a level of public trust that Meghan simply doesn't have anymore. As one viral tweet from 2026 put it, Trevor was married to her for years and never said a word. If he's speaking now, it's because the truth is too big to keep. If Trevor decides to go fully nuclear with a book, the Duchess title becomes nothing more than a ghost of a past she spent millions trying to erase. But to really get the weight of Trevor's silence, you have to look back at the Toronto years, the time when the seeds of the Duchess were first planted. Those who knew the couple back then describe a very different Meghan than the one we see today. Back then, she was a working actress struggling to make her name in a tough industry. Trevor was her rock, the producer who believed in her when nobody else did. But insiders say that as soon as she landed the role on Suits, something started to change. It wasn't just about the fame, it was about the connections. Trevor reportedly watched as her friend circle began to shift. Suddenly the old friends, the ones who had been there from the start, were getting phased out. In their place were high-profile Canadian socialites and powerful players who could offer more than just friendship. They offered a ticket to a different world. Rumors suggest that during the final years of their marriage, Meghan was already spending more time networking in London than she was in Los Angeles. Trevor was allegedly left behind, not just physically, but emotionally. He was the guy who knew her before the reinvention, and that makes him a witness to a transformation that was way more calculated than the public ever realized. This is why his potential memoir is so terrifying to the Montecito team. He doesn't just have gossip, he has the timeline of how a dream became reality, and what happened next would shock even those who thought they knew the whole story. While the drama with Trevor is heating up, another crisis is hitting the Sussexes: the silence of their A-list allies. For the first few years in California, they were surrounded by the biggest names in Hollywood. Oprah, Serena Williams, and the Clooneys were all part of the protective shield. But as we move through 2026, that shield has almost completely disappeared. The public has noticed a clear lack of support from the very people who once backed their story. When Meghan launched as ever earlier this year, the social media support was nowhere to be seen. No big-name endorsements, no celebrity unboxing videos, no public hype from the Oprah crew. Insiders say Hollywood's elite are tired of the constant drama and the victim burnout. They see a couple that's always at war, with the palace, with their own families, and now with their own past. In the high-stakes world of fame, celebrity drama only works if it brings in cash. Right now, the Sussex brand is seen as toxic. The A-list has moved on to fresher, less messy stories, leaving Meghan and Harry more isolated than ever inside their Montecito fortress. But the isolation isn't just social, it's business, and it's hitting where it hurts most: the wallet. This isn't just another tabloid story that will fade by next month. This is a major shift in what people are talking about worldwide. Meghan's whole image was built on her being the strong outsider and the silenced victim. But when the man who knew her before the titles tells a story of planning, targeted royals, and FedEx betrayal, that image crumbles. The public no longer sees a victim. They see a director who lost control of her own lead actor. Her silence in 2026 doesn't look smart. It looks like guilt. Her legal threats don't look powerful. They look like fear. She rose to global fame on charm and lucky breaks, but the foundation was built on a series of image changes that left a trail of pushed-aside people behind her. From the 18 staff members to the blindsided ex-husband, the pattern is now impossible to miss. As more voices are rumored to be coming forward, the question isn't whether she can save her brand as ever. The question is, how many more truths are buried underneath? Trevor Engelson finally broke his silence. The world is finally listening, and for the Duchess of Sussex, the real story is only just beginning. Stay tuned. The testimonies they tried to bury are finally getting a voice. This is the truth behind the spotlight. hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because this story is far from over.